Welcome to MI Radio's Myanmar Today. I'm Melody, and here are today's reports. Fourth session of the Union Peace Conference 21st Century Panglong kicks off. Pyidaungsu Hluttaw representatives discuss 2020 Union Tax Bill. COVID-19 loan to be provided to businesses for second time. Small-scale restaurants and tea shops to receive low-interest rate loan in coming September. Before we get to the reports, let's take a look at the feature local news for today. Fourth session of the Union Peace Conference 21st Century Panglong kicked off in Naypyidaw on Wednesday. The opening ceremony was attended by President U Win-myint, Chairperson of the National Reconciliation and Peace Center, State Councilor Daw Aung San Suu Kyi, state dignitaries and high-ranking officials, representatives from the EAOs and political parties, and invited guests. State Councilor Daw Aung San Suu Kyi gave an opening speech saying that all involved persons have strived for organizing this fourth session among the challenges and obstacles so as to march forwards the peace process. Despite restrictions due to COVID-19 outbreak, all stakeholders have gathered here, showing their decisiveness for achieving peace. Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Services, Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, also expressed that the peace process already has its principle, which is the nationwide ceasefire agreement. Although it was titled as the ceasefire agreement, the facts and future process included in the NCA cover a wide range of matters for building a future union. On behalf of the ethnic armed organizations who have signed the nationwide ceasefire agreement, Chairman of Restoration Council for Shan State, Yue Sit, gave a speech. He stressed the need to follow the facts included in the NCA and implement it effectively without derailing from its path to building a federal union. The 8th meeting of the Working Committee to address the impact of COVID-19 on the country's economy was held via video conference on Wednesday. The meeting was chaired by U Dang-tun, Union Minister for Investment and Foreign Economic Relations. The meeting discussed matters relating to the expeditious processing of the loan applications for the second 100 billion jets funded by the state and the prompt disbursement of the loans to the enterprises by the Myanmar Economic Bank and the private banks that have agreed to assist in the task. Myanmar National Human Rights Commission and Triangle Women Organization jointly conduct women's rights and gender orientation training in line with the health guidelines of the Ministry of Health and Sports in Yangon on Wednesday. At the opening ceremony of the training, the MNHRC chairman, U Hluttaw, delivered the opening speech. While the MNHRC is conducting field study for the public to improve the human rights affairs to improve the ability of staff members of Commission office and to make preparations for new normal during COVID-19 pandemic. It conducted training workshop on the rights for the people with disabilities with the participation of Myanmar Independent Living Initiative on the 2nd of July and another training workshop on the children's rights with NGO Child Rights Working Group on the 22nd of July. A total of 35 staff of Commission office joined the two-day training workshop on women's rights issues. And I believe it's time now for our first report. The fourth session of the Union Peace Conference 21st Century Panglong is to take place from the 19th to the 21st of August at Myanmar National Convention Center in Naypyidaw, and the opening ceremony was held on Wednesday morning. The President, State Councilor, Vice Presidents, government officials, terminal officials, EAOs that signed NCA, political parties, and invited guests attended the ceremony.
The opening ceremony of the fourth session of the Union Peace Conference 21st Century Panglong kicked off at Myanmar National Convention Center 2 in Naypyidaw on 19th of August. Those present at the ceremony were President of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, U Win Myint, Chair of National Reconciliation and Peace Center NRPC State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi, Vice Presidents U Myint Sui and U Henry Bantiu, Speaker of Pyidaungsu Hluttaw U Tikum Yet, Speaker of Myanmar Hluttaw Manwin Khai Then, Commander-in-Chief of Defense Services Senior General Myanmar Hluttaw, Union Ministers, Government Officials, NCA-signed EAOs, leaders and representatives, political parties, ambassadors, and invited guests. After the performance of the song entitled Essential Peace, Necessary Peace by a group of peace youth from Kaya State, State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi delivered her opening remark.
Peace building is beyond better future of the Union and the citizens. Peace building does not mean just the ceasefire of the conflicts. It has to completely cut off the wrong political culture of weapons and armed force being only effective and successful mean. The end of the political belief of depending on weapons and armed force, and the end of what makes this spirit can only be the successful peace building. We have to build the new culture of making concessions. Our country has already suffered over 70 years of internal conflicts, which led to direct and indirect impacts. During over 70 years, we had faced with losses worth of trillions of jets, and the future and lives of the citizens had vanished. We are now here at the junction and we have two ways to choose. Will we keep walking that wrong path, or will we choose the new path of peace building? Whatever we choose, I want to remind to think of the next generation of ethnic youths of our country who will be living in our future union.
State Councillor also mentioned about the peace processes beyond 2020, which include national reconciliation and internal peace building, democracy transition and establishment of Federal Union and amendment of the Constitution. After the speech of the State Councillor, Commander-in-Chief of Defense Services Senior General Myanmar Hluttaw, Chairman of Restoration Council of Shan State, General Yuesit, and Shan Nationalities League for Democracy Vice Chairman Wen Sai Nyun also delivered the remarks. Chairman of Restoration Council of Shan State, General Yuesit, expressed.
Pyidaungsu Hluttaw
During the past sessions of the Union Peace Conference, as we failed to compromise and as we still had doubts between two sides, it was not possible to develop the agreements of the Union Peace Accord as much as expected. We have to prepare for betterment in the future from learning these past experiences. If we look at the history, there were armed conflicts because they were not intended to solve the politics by political means. But now we're on the way of keeping on holding peace dialogues and meetings. After several discussions, we have advanced the Phase 3 of Union Peace Accord, which is to be presented at this conference. In the future, we have to work together to overcome the challenges and difficulties to implement the NCA for ensuring long-lasting peace.
In October of 2015, 8 ethnic organizations EAOs signed for National Ceasefire Agreement (NCA), and in February of 2018, 2 more EAOs became their NCO signatories. The first session of the Union Peace Conference 21st Century Panglong was held in 2016, the second session in 2017, and the third session in 2018. The fourth session has been in progress from 19 to 21st of August 2020.
That's the report on 4th session of the Union Peace Conference 21st Century Panglong kicks off. At the second Pyidaungsu Hluttaw's 17th regular session, the 10th day meeting, the different representatives suggested their opinion on the report and findings of Pyidaungsu Hluttaw Joint Bill Committee on Union Tax Law.
The 2020 Union Tax Bill was discussed at the second Pyidaungsu Hluttaw's 17 regular section that continued the 10-day meeting in Naypyidaw on 19 August. Pyidaungsu Hluttaw Joint Bill Committee submitted its finding and report on 2020 Union Tax Bill to Hluttaw at the meeting on 5th August 2020. The different representatives suggested their opinion on the report and findings of the Bill Committee on Union Tax Bill at the 10-day meeting. Dr. Pyidaungsu Hluttaw representative, Ayeyarwady Region, Constituency 7, discussed.
အပိုင်း23ဖြစ်တဲ့ corporate tax ကို25ရာခိုင်နှုန်းဖြစ်ဝင်ငွေကုန်စည်းကျက်ရမယ်ဆိုတာကိုကျွန်တော်တို့ရဲ့နှစ်စဉ်အခွန်ကောက်ဥပဒေတွေထဲမှာပြဋ္ဌာန်းဆောင်ရွက်နေခဲ့ကြတာဖြစ်ပါတယ်။မြန်မာနိုင်ငံကုမ္ပဏီများဥပဒေအထူးကုမ္ပဏီအက်ဥပဒေအရမှတ်ပုံ
The Section 23 of current Union Tax Bill describes that the total net profit of a company has to be paid as a corporate tax. Myanmar includes the top 11 high corporate tax rate in Asia. In these years, the regional countries are trying to develop national economy competitively, to get more and more foreign direct investments, and to develop the local businesses, and so the high rate of corporate tax should be reconsidered. According to MIC law, the Section 7, the exemption for income tax are also allowed for investment. So the question was, risk that a company really want to invest or it just want to take the exemptions for income tax purposely? Is the MIC of Internal Revenue Department taking on the evaluation of corporate tax evasion? The enforcement of a law in the ground is the most essential thing. Not only reduction of corporate tax rate, but also those who are absent to follow the law are going to face affected legal actions. So I would like to submit that 20% of the total net profit it should be reissued instead of 25% prescribed in Union Tax Bill.
The 2020 Union Tax Bill is the 8th bill that Pyidaungsu Hluttaw to approve for the year of 2020. Colonel Sotun Ao, Tamara representative, discussed on the bill.
အခုချိန်ဟာနိုင်ငံတော်အနေနဲ့ COVID-19 ကြောင့်ကျန်းမာရေးသုံးစိတ်တွေကုန်ကျနေချိန် secret sale
The country is costing for the process of recovering the businesses in the wake of COVID-19. The high rate of tax for cigarette and alcohol company is a method to reduce the public consumption. The tax rate should not be reduced but be consistent for that. The Bill Committee amended the rate of income tax in the new bill amendment. But the taxpayers who can show the method of income have to pay the high rate of income tax. So the tax evasion is likely to increase. The tax rate for income should be remaining in the bill.
The Pyidaungsu Hluttaw is going to propose the final amendment to 2020 Union Tax Bill and seek for approvals on 28 August. The Pyidaungsu Hluttaw Joint Bill Committee is going to cooperate and discuss with the relevant departments and Hluttaw representatives before seeking the approval.
That's the report on Pyidaungsu Hluttaw representatives discussed 2020 Union Tax Bill. Moving on to third report. After the first loan of 100 billion jets from COVID-19 fund was provided to over 3,000 businesses to remedy the impacts posed by the COVID-19, the government is to provide the second-time loan to 9 main sectors. The applicants for the second-time loan program have already reached over 10,000. And the second-time loan program will be provided at 3 time slots.
To remedy the impacts on economy posed by the COVID-19, the government is working for different solutions, and one of them is to provide the enterprises with a loan. The COVID-19 fund was established from which the loans are granted to the businesses to continue operation and employment. The first loan of 100 billion just was provided to 3,393 businesses out of 4,250 proposals. The first prioritized businesses were like the food supplies, the manufacturing, and hotel businesses. The first-time loan was given to 80% of total applicants, with the average of 30 million just for each. And now the government is to provide second-time loan program for 9 main sectors, which are agriculture, livestock, fisheries, export, import substitution, supply chain, food production, job agency, and vocational schools. Wu Ewin, General Secretary of the UMFCCI, added more information about the loan.
အဓိကတော့ဒီတစ်ခေါက်မှာလျှောက်လာပေါင်းကျွန်တော်တို့1000ကျော်ပေါ့နော်လက်ခံရရှိပါတယ်
Till now, about 10,000 applications are submitted. Out of the states and regions, Ayeyarwady region, Bago region, and Sagaing region have the most submitted applications, and the least is Chin State. There are 4 steps to give approval to the applicants. At present, about 6,000 to 7,000 have been scanned, and 1,000 perfect applications have sent to the first step review. Most of the applicants are from food production, agriculture, and livestock. We are expecting to provide the loan for the first batch of the second loan program at the beginning of September. For the whole loan program, it is expected to take about 2 months. One of the challenges for the enterprises when applying loan is that some cannot show the specific business license or procedures so that they became ineligible for the loan.
Since the pandemic has posed the severe impact nationwide, it is difficult to cover all the affected businesses in the whole country. However, it still have impacts on the enterprises provided with the loan. Wu Angmin, Secretary of Market Research Association, added his suggestions on the loan program.
The
provided loan, 100 billion kyats, is not enough nationwide. This amount accounted for $70 million. Under CERP plan, it is aimed to provide 1.5 billion or $2 billion. Some enterprises say the loan is not enough for them. Since the enterprises provided with loan have some kinds of benefit, we have to consider the possibilities of why some enterprises do not apply for the loan. If the reason is the small amount of loan, it is necessary to consider how much amount of loan can be increased to be effective and useful for the businesses. Moreover, the loan has to be paid back within a short time span. Over a year duration for loan is too short. Some may have problems in paying the loan back within 1 year. It is really important for the enterprises to get the necessary amount when they are in need.
Another thing is that the loan system does not intend for the new businesses which do not have 2 years of work experience. A lot of newly established SMEs are expecting to get the loan from the government. Managing Director of Mono Horizon Services Company Limited also spoke to MI Radio about his opinion.
There
are also some companies which have already run for a year, and when this pandemic happened, they face many difficulties and problems. As they are the new ones in this sector, it is difficult for them to get loan like others. That's why in this year, SMEs are mostly affected by COVID-19, and most were forced to suspend the operations. Additionally, since we are applying for the amount we can pay back, we expect the government to provide to the fullest amount we apply if possible.
To solve this problem, the government has allowed the relevant association of SMEs to provide the loan to the enterprises as well. Although the loan is still not enough for all the businesses, the government is accelerating the efforts in every aspect in order to boost the economy again as fast as possible. The COVID-19 Economic Relief Plan CERP is developed, and the relevant ministries are working within the specified schedules.
That's the report on COVID-19 loan to be provided to businesses for the second time. Let's move on to the last report for today. The Financial Regulatory Department under the Ministry of Planning, Finance and Industry is going to provide 59.5 billion jets to the tea shops and small restaurants hit hard by the COVID-19 crisis. The tea shops and small-scale restaurants can seek for a loan through 44 microfinance companies in the respective regions and states.
The Financial Regulatory Department under the Ministry of Planning, Finance and Industry is going to provide 59.498 billion jats to the tea shops and smaller restaurants hit hard by the COVID-19 crisis at an interest rate of 2% per annum, according to the department's announcement issued on 15 August. The tea shops and small-scale restaurants can seek for a loan through 44 microfinance companies in their respective regions and states, with 9 in Kachin State, 5 in Gaya State, 6 in Gayan State, 2 in Chen State, 14 in Sakhan Region, 5 in Tanindai Region, 21 in Bagu Region, 13 in Magui, 10 in Mon State, 5 in Rakhine State, 18 in Yangon, 11 in Shan State, and 12 in Irrawaddy Region. The tea shops and small-scale restaurants can take out a loan from 3.5 to 10 million jats, depending on their initial investments. Barrick Myanmar is one of the 44 microfinance companies which will pay the loan for the program. About the information for the programs, Mr. Sasadusaman, General Manager of Barrick Myanmar Microfinance Company Limited, told MR Radio.
As you know, the BRAC is working here to support the vulnerable and the marginalized group of this community, and this COVID impacted a lot in this bottom of this group. We are happy to take part in this a restaurant and the tea shop recovery project of government. We're quite happy and to take part in this project. Particularly for Bago and Mandali, we are focusing. We think there's lots of restaurant and tea shops are closed in this COVID time. They're seriously shocked with their income. So we are primarily focusing on that particular groups. And then there is a different slab of this business, like how many, what will be your capital, that based on the capital and then all the things of the business, we will try out what amount of exact loan they require to reopen this business in a normal way. We will definitely understand and identify not to overlap with other microfinance, that one single person, single business can take only one loan. We are very near to signing this contract. Even any day, we can go to the government office and just sign this contract. There will be a small process of our system executions, but it will not take too much time. But definitely, we are expecting from September we can able to start the disbursement.
Speaking to MR Radio about their opinion on governments providing the loan for tea shops, Ko Limbo, manager from Mintisa Tea Shop, said.
Our
tea shop don't have a plan to take the loan, as there are still no enough customers here. If the government will provide the loan with a low interest rate, it is good news for the shopkeeper who are facing difficulties and need the financial support. If the shopkeeper take the loan directly from the private microfinance companies, they have to give some amount of interest rate, but now they can pay only annual interest rate 2% for the loan, which is a low rate for them.
Those who want to apply for a loan require to meet 9 criteria. Those businesses with at least 1 year of operation, which temporarily shut down during the crisis, are eligible to apply for the loan. They must present their recommendations and verifications of the relevant municipal officials and administrators. The loan aims to ease the economic burden faced by the virus stricken businesses and not to expand the business and put capital for the businesses. The government intends to help the business keep operations and the workers get salary. The loan term is valid for 1 year. Umamauti, the owner of Sri Lawon restaurant, said MR Radio about his plan to take the loan and his opinion of impact of loan on shops.
I have never experienced to do financial matters related with government before, but I am going to apply for the loan program this time. If the criteria they consider for giving the loan are relevant with us, I will take the loan. The tea shops and small and medium restaurants will be convenient by providing this sort of loan program for them. It is not easy to get the loan with a low rate like this during these years. I am really appreciated with the government's consideration for us. The loan can support partially for us to carry on our shops and restaurants. Of course, we have to follow the respective regulations, and the borrowers should consider whether they can follow these regulations or not.
Who want to apply for the loan can apply at the Financial Regulatory Board, filling in all necessary information about the forms, which can be downloaded at www.frd.gov.mm.
That's the report on small-scale restaurants and tea shops to receive low-interest rate loan in coming September. Now to international news. China has been stepping up efforts in ecological protection of the Yangtze River, China's mother river and one of the two longest rivers in the country. During his stay in Mahashan City in East China's Anhui province on Wednesday, President Xi Jinping, General Secretary of the Communist Party of China Central Committee, visited the ecological park. He inspected the floodwater situation at the Yangtze River, comprehensive renovation of waterfronts, as well as ecological and environmental protection and restoration. The Cupertino, California-based company's shares briefly rose to as high as $468.65 on Wednesday, equivalent to a market capitalization of a little over $2.004 trillion. The stock was last up 1.2% at $467.62, giving Apple a market capitalization of $1.999 trillion. Apple's stock is up about 57% so far in 2020. The rally reflects growing investor confidence in Apple's shift toward relying less on sales of iPhones and more on services for its users, including video, music, and games. Inactivated COVID-19 vaccine candidates developed by a Chinese pharmaceutical company are likely to be on the market by the end of December at a price of less than 1,000 won, which is $144 for 2 shots. Chairman of the China National Pharmaceutical Group was quoted as saying by the Guangming Daily in a report on Tuesday, the marketing review procedure will start after overseas phase 3 clinical trials are completed. The price of the vaccines will not be high after they go into the market, with 2 shots costing less than 1,000 won. The chairman stated that not all 1.4 billion Chinese people need to be vaccinated, suggesting that students and those working in cities should take the injections while people who live in rural areas with comparatively smaller populations do not have to. After the vaccine becomes available to the public, some major groups like medical workers and students could probably get it for free, while others would have to get vaccinated at their own expenses, analysis had said. That's all with the news and reports on Myanmar Today. Hope everyone is staying safe.